Good morning and welcome to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter, the show that takes a look at the events and what's happening all around Putnam County, as well as interviews with local, community, and business leaders. And now, sharing his insights and experience, here's Today in Putnam County with County Mayor Randy Porter.
Good day, and thanks for joining us this week for Today in Putnam County. I'm County Mayor Randy Porter. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hey, it's Christmas. Doesn't seem possible that we've rolled around already another year, but I hope you're having a great time with your family. Hope you have a great Christmas. This week's show, it's about our local real estate market, and my guests this week are two experts in that. Miss Kathy Dunn, she's with Highlands Elite Real Estate. Mr. Darren Wilson, he's with the realty firm, and both of them are also county commissioners. They are my county commissioners on the 11th District of Putnam County. This is our Christmas show, and I can't think of anyone that enjoys Christmas more than Darren Wilson.
No doubt.
He starts telling me in January how many days it is to Christmas. So Darren, we're getting down close now, aren't
down
we?
to 4 days.
Yeah, it's almost here. And is it just me, or is it coming faster?
Oh,
than
it seems
used
faster,
to?
yeah.
Fast-paced lifestyle we live in has something to do with that, doesn't it?
It does. I thought it would get slower as you matured, but it does not. It seems to just get faster.
It does. We were reminiscing the other day back on the family farm when I was growing up. We'd come in from working and eat supper, and then we'd go sit on the front porch. And it seemed like it would take forever for it to get dark.
Yeah.
Now I can't get home before dark.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's going by so
Well, luckily
fast.
Saturday's the shortest day of the year, so we'll start going the other way.
Hey, we're going the other way.
That's right.
I kind of like the thing about the daylight savings time, Darren, where they're doing away with it. And we move up the hour and we don't ever go back.
That's what we're hoping and praying
it finally
for.
happens.
I hope
Me
so, too. Well, thank y'all for being on the show. Both y'all. Darren, you got 20 years experience. Kathy, you're coming up on 30 years in the real estate market.
I know, and I'm so young.
You're so young. You started when you were 10?
Exactly.
That's you've had a great year. But in thinking about the show today, both y'all seen the good, the bad, the ugly, you saw it all when it comes to the real estate market. And I was thinking, both y'all went through the financial crisis that we had back in 08, 09.
Yeah.
That was a terrible time.
Tough time. It was. I remember that year specifically because I went from June 22nd to October the 17th and didn't have one sale.
Not one sale.
It was just tough.
Yeah, and I got involved in working the foreclosure market and whatever it took to continue making a living.
Yeah.
That was just, maybe some folks saw it coming, but we as normal people, we didn't see it coming, did we?
No.
There's no way to predict that kind of thing, but it was a bad time. And then, of course, we rolled out of it, and then you saw one of the craziest times. So, tornado hit here in Putnam County,
right.
March 2020.
Yep.
Terrible time, lost 19 lives. Immediately within a week, COVID hits, and we're all thinking that this is really bad. Our economy is
recession.
Yeah. Economy's going down and everything. And we started having conference calls instead of getting together because of COVID. And we talked about that. We were worried, how bad our revenues and stuff was going to be. It was the opposite, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts. Of course, in the real estate, 2021, it just exploded. I can remember one particular home, and I think it went almost $50,000 over asking price.
And I had one that we had 18 offers on.
Yeah.
We had to lay them out on the conference table and do a spreadsheet.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? I know one of the ladies that works in my office, they put up their home for sale, and in 2 hours that same day. And so tell me if this was true. I kept hearing all this, that y'all were getting people that were moving here from everywhere, California, New York, all these places, but that you were selling homes by taking your cell phone and walking through the house?
I was doing videos of homes for out-of-state folks that couldn't get here, but I never sold one house that they didn't see before closing.
Right.
I was fortunate. Every one that I sold, they came and did their closings in person, and we did a walkthrough prior to closing.
But you had, if you didn't grab onto those houses quick, they were going so fast.
Yeah.
That
The thing about housing is, and it still stands true, and it will stand true, is you can buy homes anywhere, but it's hard to buy a location.
Right.
The specific. Years ago it used to be location, location, location. Now it's location, condition, and price. That's what will sell a home. It's just based on how well it's been kept.
Yeah.
And if you price it, if you listen to your professional realtor, and don't think, my neighbor got this out of their house. My house should be worth this. My house is nicer than them. Well, niceness is in the eyes of the beholder.
Right.
That's right.
So it all depends on whether or not it's in a desirable location, and if you got it priced, correctly, it will sell.
Kathy, you've been to the longest almost 30 years. Had you ever seen anything like the 2020, 2021, 22 era?
Absolutely not. And it's really difficult for not just sellers right now, but real estate agents who got their license in 2019 or 20, and they've never seen a different market. But, what we experienced for those 2 years was not sustainable.
Right.
And now we're returning to a more normalized real estate market, and it's difficult for people to understand. But I remember it was quite normal for a home to stay on the market at least 6 months. After 6 months, you just go back to seller and say, hey, it's time to renew. And they're like, okay, send me the paperwork,
That's selling in 2 or 3 hours or in the same day. That was just crazy.
That was I don't know if you call it a fluke, but it was certainly a moment in time that I don't know that we'll be back
ever
at.
See again.
I don't think so.
Ever see again. We were talking in the break. You had a mentor in this when you started.
Oh, yeah.
Who was that, Darren?
Well, they was my illustrious friend, Kathy Dunn.
Wow.
Yeah, when I first got in the real estate business, I've known Kathy for a long time, and when I started my career, I asked if she could be my mentor, and was graciously allowed to do so. And it certainly gave me the basis of the knowledge that I have had in this business and to go forward. And I'll call Kathy many times still to this day, hey, what do you think about this? And just bend her ear. But again, I don't think there's many realtors that we have in our market that you can't pick up the phone and call.
Y'all get along really well, don't you?
There's no reason.
I taught Darren everything he knows about real estate. I didn't teach him everything I know, but
and I appreciate that, right?
We're always bragging in our community about how we all get along so well, the elected officials in the cities and the county and the chamber and all that. But when you see real estate agents, which you're actually competitors,
technically,
but you're actually getting along really well.
This is the only
that's
business
amazing, isn't it?
that you have to work with your competition.
Right.
You can't work against them, or you can't get a deal done.
There's two sides to that deal.
Well, buyers and sellers come and go. Realtors are going to be here for the duration.
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well get along with each other. I mean, I had promised myself, and Kathy and I had talked about this. She may or may not remember this conversation years ago, but I said to her, I'm never going to cut off somebody else at the knees. Because I'd rather have the relationship with them than I'm worried about catching a dollar, because I promise you it'll catch up with you down the road.
What goes around comes around, doesn't it?
Without a doubt.
Never get your wallet between you and your customer.
That's right.
Do you think we'll ever see those crazy times that we saw?
I think we'll see lower interest rates again. I think they'll be down in the 4s again eventually, according to a few lender friends of mine, but I'm not sure we're going to see in the 3s.
Yeah, my thoughts are if we could ever get to where it would stay long-term in the mid-5s, I think that'd be a great rate.
Great price.
Yeah.
Can a man...
I know several people. I remember a realtor that said she remembers one house that she sold and the interest rate was 21.9%.
Our first house that Melanie and I bought was 9 1/4.
I paid 9 for mine.
We thought we had set the world on fire.
Yeah.
Because the rates had been up so high.
Yeah.
And then when we built our first house, we got 6 3/4, and we said, we can't believe that we got this rate. And then all of a sudden those rates fell to almost nothing.
Yeah.
And you got people financing for 2 and 3%. And all that.
It's free money.
Yeah, and it's kind of crippled the market right now a little bit. That was not sustainable. Those rates should have never stayed that low. So now you've got people that have jobs in other cities, but they can't afford to move because their interest rate's so low.
Mm-hmm. They're locked in on those loans.
They are.
Yeah, it makes it tough. Hey, this is our Christmas show today. Hope you're enjoying it. Wish everybody Merry Christmas. We're talking with Kathy Dunn and Darren Wilson about real estate in Putnam County and how it's going. We're going to get into more about the real estate market and some of today's things that are going on. And we're also going to talk about these two folks about their being a county commissioner and the work that they do on top of the real estate job. Stay with us. We got to take a quick break. You're listening to Today in Putnam County.
And now back to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.
Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a great time. It's that time of the season. Just always remember the reason for the season is Jesus Christ's birth is what we're celebrating. Hope you have a great time with your family and enjoy it. This week's show is about our local real estate market. My guest this week are Kathy Dunn. She's with Highlands Elite Real Estate, and Darren Wilson. He's with the Realty Firm, and we're talking about the real estate market and what it's been in the past with the financial crisis and then the craziness in the 2020, 2021 era where they're selling in hours. Let's talk about today, guys. So there was a point where we had a shortage of homes in the real estate market. Is that still pertinent today, or where we stand?
It is. We still have a shortage. So currently we have about a 3-month supply of homes on the market. Anything less than 6 months of inventory is considered a seller's market. Longer than 6 months inventory, that's considered a buyer's market. So we're still definitely in a seller's market.
So it doesn't seem to me, and y'all tell me, y'all the experts, it doesn't seem like that you're seeing that many houses being built out, which what I would call not low income housing, but affordable housing. We're seeing a lot of condo houses being built. Is that a fad, or all of us, when we wanted our first house, what did we want? We wanted a piece of land that we could have a yard and for our family, and we wanted, a home and everything. It seems like everybody now is wanting the townhouses that we're seeing so much built. What's up with that?
Well, a lot of people nowadays want to be within walking distance of the coffee shop, want to be walking distance of the grocery store. They don't want the maintenance of a large yard. They want just low maintenance and come and go. They're on the go all the time, never home.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yep. I know growing up, we lived on a third of an acre lot in a neighborhood, and I couldn't wait to have a little bit larger place to get outside.
You wanted some land.
Yeah, I wanted some land, just as a change. But again, and not to mention because we're a college town too.
Yeah.
You see a lot of that going on downtown over behind Ralph's. A lot of that's been building on currently, and you're
on the side of Shoney's Hill. Did you ever?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever think you'd see townhouses on the side of Shoney's Hill?
No.
And my hat's off to Chad Gilbert and them for being able to engineer that to make that work.
It's insane.
It's just crazy.
And that's a perfect use, because that would have been nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have done nothing with that land, just sat there and held the water tower.
Yeah.
For eons, and now they've taken it up and they brought tax base to the county, so that's good.
So the low inventory of housing, is that because you think a lot of people are still moving here, or is that just the contractors have never caught up with the housing market?
Well, there's a few things there. Number one, we lost 300 single-family homes in that tornado in 2020.
Right.
Okay, that's a lot to overcome. Number two, a lot of young families that had said, hey, I don't want to buy a house, I don't want to have all that. They decided, wait, maybe that is a good investment, so let me get involved there. And number three, during COVID, we found all the people that were allowed to go work from home, and they're like, if I can work from home, I don't have to live where I don't like it, so let's move somewhere nice like Tennessee.
Right. And it went crazy there for a while, didn't it? I mean, we went from being like number 12 in the nation of where people were moving to number 1.
Yeah.
Well, no state income tax here, and we've got what better place to live than Tennessee?
Oh, absolutely.
And then not to mention the Upper Cumberland and Putnam County, we've got the greatest community. And again, I say it all the time. We got a regional hospital, we got a college town. There's not much that Cookeville doesn't have to offer.
Retail, shopping, restaurants, jobs. I mean, it's pretty much all of it.
It is, and like a lot of people that I sold houses to from out of state, they said they would drive through Tennessee and they'd be like, I pay all this tax money where I come from, and I've got hardly anything to show for it. And you drive through Tennessee, they collect only this much taxes and look at everything they have, from their roads being nice to their communities, and so they're like, if I can have a choice, I want to live somewhere like Tennessee.
We were in early voting. The line was long, a huge turnout for early voting, which is great. There was a couple in front of us that we struck up a conversation, and they had moved here from California. And he was originally raised in Oregon, and she was originally raised in California, and they met. They still had their big family farm and stuff in Oregon. But when they moved here, they kept all that. They even kept the house that they had in California. And they were telling me that California had some kind of weird law that they were trying to make them pay their state income tax on the house that they still had that they were renting in California. They were wanting them to pay that income tax on the revenue that they were getting out of that house. That's messed up, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they were kind of calling it an exit tax.
Exit tax, yes, that's what it was. And so they wonder why people are moving to Tennessee and Florida and Carolinas and all that. It's because we don't have a lot of that stuff.
Well, our property tax base is amazing. I'll never will forget, years ago, I had someone wanted to purchase in the rural area 7 acres on a single wide trailer on 7 acres. And they came up to me and they said, well, what's the taxes? They were coming from Connecticut. He was going to work for the college. And I never will forget the number. It was $712.58.
Did he ask, was that per month?
He says that per month?
Yeah.
He said, I pay $6,000 a month in property taxes on a postage stamp size lot in Connecticut.
Yeah, I had the same exact conversation with a couple one time from Michigan.
And so me being a little history buff that I am with Putnam County stuff, and I recited to y'all back in 1969 or 70 newspaper article at at the archive says that Putnam County Commission passed the property tax for Putnam County, and it was like $2.79. Where we're what, 266?
Yeah, 266 and some change.
So the property taxes here, the rate hasn't went up. It's just the value of our homes and lands that have went up. So, Kathy, what's the interest rates doing to us? We just had the Fed cut rates another 1/4 of a point, but kind of cautioned that maybe they weren't going to have many rate cuts coming up in next year. What's that done to the housing market?
Well, it has stalled some folks. People that are sitting on, those 3.5%, 3.25%, 3% interest rates who need to make a move right now. They're like, wow, I don't want to trade in my 3% mortgage for a 6.25% mortgage, which with good credit and everything, I think about 6.25 is attainable right now. You might buy down a point to get it there, but in that range. So it's just hard for people to get their mind around it after the Fed's leaving the interest rate so low for so long.
Right. And it was, folks got some great deals, 2 and 3%. We had a lady that went to church with us that she refinanced her house for like 2.5% or something like that. It was just unbelievable at the rates. And you're right, they kept it so long. Now, though, it's kind of getting back to normal, though, isn't it? Is there a normal that you would say that if the rates were here, we'd kind of be in a
I like
normal?
to see them at 5.25.
Yeah, and in the fives, low to mid fives, I think you'd be fine. That's just an attainable rate, in my opinion. That'd be an easier rate for most people to swallow. And historically, that's always been a good sweet spot.
We got a problem, though, Kathy. We were talking in the break. Until the federal government gets its spending under control, we got trillions. What is it now up to now? 36 trillion or something of debt that they're trying to service with these higher interest rates. Until that gets under control, we're going to have a tough time, aren't we?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So 3 things. You've got to either bring down the federal deficit, you've got to build more houses, and you got to bring more jobs back to the U.S.
Yeah.
It's going to take at least one or a combination of all 3 of those to see those interest rates get down and stay down, in my opinion, from what I've been reading.
Agreed, 100%.
You got family coming in now, and they're looking to buy a house, and so what's your thoughts to them? I know you probably got a list of stuff that you say you need to do this, and this. I heard some crazy stuff about people buying homes without home inspections there for a while and all that kind of stuff. That's just not where it's at, right?
It's not. And when it was crazy like that, I told my clients, I said, no, you're not going to waive your right to a home inspection. You're not going to waive your right to an appraisal if that's what you want on the appraisal side. But I said on the home inspection, I said, no. I said, because you get in it, you're going to be asking me, then why didn't I do this?
Yeah, when they find something bad.
Yeah.
That's right.
Darren, we had people that, the Jackson County Mayor, Randy Hitty, and I talk a lot, and they were having people down in Jackson County that were moving here from Florida, California, or all the places that came from, and they were buying land, and they weren't checking the land to see was there water, was there electric, was there gas,
utilities close by,
would the land perk, and just buying it.
Right.
And then they were upset with the county government because they found out all this stuff wasn't there.
After the fact. Yeah, there's a whole lot. Of course, land's it's its own little bear itself. Most of the time, if you have decent farmland, the rule of thumb is if you got a 5-acre tract of land, you can perk somewhere on that property. Yeah. In most cases. Not always. But then back to the utilities, sometimes where there's not water. I know even north of town that they were out Hillham Highway at the edge of Overton County, there was no water services. Right. It had to be well.
Right.
And so you just got to look at it and make sure that it's got everything. And of course, broadband. We're finally getting broadband out. Thank God. We've had.
Mine was turned on this week, Kathy.
I'm so happy for y'all to come into
listen, 21st century. Yeah, mine's been horrible, but I'm about ready to get hooked on over
I
that.
even have a choice of high-speed internet in my neighborhood.
Okay, turn her mic off.
Yeah. Kathy, thanks for being with us today. I just got mine hooked up this week, and it's amazing. But that became a huge deal.
It was huge, and I think, of course, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, later on. But that was one of the big things that I think that was good for the county. But no, there's a lot dealing with land. You got to ask yourself and look at a couple things. Is there a lot of rock outcroppings on the property? Is there issues are there sinkholes on the property? Things that would prohibit you from building? And anybody that can walk that property and see that and do their investigation. investigation and ask questions.
Yes, like have your mineral rights been sold
Yes,
off?
yes. Do you have mineral rights? Right,
They weren't checking any of
No.
this. They were just buying it almost sight unseen,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you never know what
You
you're going to
gotta
get.
ask questions.
Got to ask questions. Hey, today's show's about our real estate market here in Putnam County. My guests this week are Highlands real estate agent Kathy Dunn and Darren Wilson. He's with the realty firm. They're both county commissioners also from the 11th District of Putnam County. In our next segment coming up, we're going to talk to them about being a county commissioner and what it's like. But we got to take a quick break. Stay with us.
And now back to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.
Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. Merry Christmas. Hey, it's that time. It seems like it's impossible for it to already have rolled around another year, but it's here, folks, and I hope you're having a great time. Hope you enjoy Christmas with your family. Always remember the reason for the season is not all the gift giving and the spending and the eating and all that. Darren, it's all about Christ's
Amen.
birth. We're celebrating.
That's exactly
right, Kathy. And so my guests this week, Darren Wilson and Kathy Dunn, both of them real estate agents, but they're also my county commissioners out in my district, the 11th District of Putnam County. We've been talking about real estate, but in this final segment, we're going to talk a little bit about the county commission. So I think it's a good story. Darren, Kathy was your mentor, getting you into real estate. You've been in 20 years, Kathy almost 30, and then both of you ran for county commissioner at the same time.
Yeah.
Did y'all talk about that before you did that?
No.
No, not the front end. When I found out she was running, I called her. I said, okay, competition's on.
So your first election when y'all ran, were there other people running?
It was 6. We
Yeah.
had 6. Every time the 11th District's got the most.
Yes.
We've
I
had
don't know
6
why
people.
that is, unless
Yeah.
we just got so many good people out there that they're wanting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it. I told Kathy, I said, first round, I don't know, I think I garnered 20 or 40 more votes than her. She beat me this last round. And of course, my plan on running again, I said, challenge is on.
Yeah, I was at a Women's Council of Realtors national meetings years ago. My boys were still little, and they kept telling us that all this information that you're learning here, don't just use it in your real estate community, but you need to go back home and find ways to serve, whether it's on committees in your county or city, or, city councils, county commissions and things. And so once my boys got grown and out of college, I was like, okay, it's my time to give back.
Yeah, and you have, both of you have it. We had of course, I go back EMS and 911 director and being in county commission meetings for years. We had a real issue back then of trying to get good business people that would even run for county commissioner. That's changed. When you start looking across the county commission now, I mean, we got several business people, and
True.
that has truly made a difference in the way that we've been able to conduct county business, I think, because you have that business knowledge. You know what the community needs. You see it on a day-to-day basis, and you're willing to bring those ideas into the commission.
Well, I said years ago, I said, and I've said it to you, and I've said it to many people, I said, one of the greatest things I think you have done as our county mayor is to implement that 5-year forecasting for each department, to give them an opportunity for us to be able to plan for something. And I think that was one of the wisest things we could have done. And each department head now has a goal.
Yeah.
And I think and it's an attainable goal if we plan it.
Right.
And prepare for it.
And you made it an attainable goal when we started budgeting off of that 5-year plan each year. So we're going to have surprises every now and then. You can't keep from that with emergency stuff. But every year when we budget, we know what we're going to be doing this year, next year coming up. If we got a roof that's got to be replaced in 3 years, we know that when that's
we know what's coming down the pike, so we're not caught off guard and go, oh, no.
Yeah. I hate surprises. Do you?
I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah, me too.
Especially that of hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes.
Or millions.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
So thinking back over you're in your second term, thinking back over the last several years being county commissioner, what's some of the things that you're most proud of that you saw the county be able to accomplish?
I can tell you right off the top, the greatest vote that I think I took and that I was so proud of is the fact that we purchased the expo centers.
Yeah.
The land for the expo center, $5.7 million that we purchased for that, and to know that it's going to be a return for this county for decades, many years to come.
You know, Kathy, we were looking for land, but I'd been looking for several years, and we found what we thought was a good place was the old racetrack down at the Baxter exit. And I'll never forget, went to the fiscal review committee, and everybody seemed like they were for it and everything, and then come to the county commission meeting, and it totally changed. There was several of the commissioners that said, we want it in Cookeville. We don't want it in Baxter.
Right.
So lost by a few votes. I always think everything happens for a reason. Okay, God's got a plan.
Now Portobello.
And now we got a $200 multi-million-dollar plant down there.
North
Portobello.
American headquarters in Baxter, Tennessee.
And we got 195 acres on
Yeah.
Tennessee Avenue that the convention center is completed, ready to do the ribbon cutting on it right first of the
And
year.
it's a beautiful facility.
It is, Kathy. Y'all were down and had your kind of Christmas.
We had our Christmas party for our company there, and it was just a beautiful place.
And we're ready then this coming spring and summer start on the big expo center, which is going to be great. Fairgrounds, the new Midway and arena and all that stuff is getting close to being finished, and that was that's just amazing. Is there something else that sticks out with you, Kathy, of something you're proud of?
Well, I love seeing at the new Parkview School this morning, reading to the kids this morning, and such a beautiful elementary school, and it was so needed. And the teachers and the staff are just so thankful to have a beautiful home to be in.
It is. It's a great thing. When you think back over the last few years of all we've been able to do in the county, you talked about broadband expansion to get that grant from the state with Twin Lakes, and we put in some of our ARP funds to make sure that every residence in the county has at least one carrier with high-speed internet. Kathy, Darren, we all lived out north of town on DSL for years and was terrible, but that's a huge thing. Being able to get to these folks that live in far ends of the county. No water access.
Water, yeah.
I don't remember how many homes there were. There was
About
about
600.
600, and now it's down to...
Oh, we're going to cut that in half or less once we do of course, we're doing the Martin Creek Water Project. We're doing the Calf Killer Water Project. We're able to add an addition onto the health department. You know, those folks during COVID, they quickly became my heroes. And I know they did yours too, with seeing them standing out in the cold, doing testing and doing the vaccinations and helping us during the tornado and everything, and be able to give them an addition that will take care of that.
They were the heroes.
Yes, they were.
They were.
Of Putnam County for during that time.
They absolutely were. We got a couple minutes. Where you see things going in the future? We've kind of slowed down some on our growth, hadn't we? We're not running crazy like we were, but we're still growing. You think our future still looks good?
Putnam County?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
You know, as long as we've got Tennessee Tech here and good hospital and all the facilities and services that anybody could want or need, and then, you know, got another new development coming in there on Willow Avenue, which ought to make a lot of other people happy with what it's going to bring. And so I just think our future looks extremely bright.
I think the best thing that we have going for us in Putnam County, and we've said it in our commission meetings before, is the amazing people in this community.
Yeah.
You know, when tragedy struck, came together like nobody. I mean, I've never
dreamed we'd come together like we did.
Nothing like that. But that's the heart. That's why people want to move here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had customers people just waving all the time, don't even know who I am.
Well, I had clients in town. They were staying at the Airbnb behind Dollar General on 10th Street.
Yeah.
And they asked me, they said, "Did you tell people to come and visit us?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, people saw our Louisiana tags because there was a hurricane came up, and so they just decided to come on up here and look for housing." And said somebody came and knocked on the door and gave us homemade sourdough bread because they saw our tags. And somebody else came and gave us gift cards to local restaurants. And we just thought maybe you had told people. And I said, "Absolutely not." I said, "That's just the generosity of our residents and how we love on each other."
Yeah.
Great community, guys.
The best.
Great community. We're so blessed, and pray for blessings on our county every day. Thank y'all for being on the show. I hope y'all have a great Christmas.
Thanks for
You too.
asking us.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate what y'all do as county commissioners, too, because it means a lot to have business folks on the commission that understand business and government, and y'all do a great job, and I appreciate y'all representing me out in my district, too.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Hey, guys, that's our show for this week. Hope you join us every weekend for Today in Putnam County. I'm County Mayor Randy Porter, hoping you will remember the reason for the season, which is celebrating Christ's birth. Hope you and your family have a great Christmas. From the Porter family to yours, Merry Christmas.
You've been listening to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.